Hey, Letty.
Yeah, Kelly.
Remember when I called your house a trash dump?
Good morning.
Morning. Oh my
Hello.
God. Hello. It's so lovely to see your face.
It is well for you, listeners, and thank you for listening to WTH ADHD. It seems like we just talked to you. For us, it's been a little bit. We took a minute.
We took about 2 months off.
I've no sense of time, clearly.
Clearly, you didn't recognize it was 2 whole months. We took 2 months off. I had a little surgery, and that's why we took 2 months off.
I tended to the New York City dump inside my house.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Ever since that last episode, everybody, I am a horrible person. And
I never even said you're horrible.
But does she pointed out that I said the word trash. Her house looked like trash.
It was actually the best thing you could have done for me.
I know, but I literally from your whole family got shit for it.
No, they were laughing.
No. When I
laughing.
walk into your house and your fiance says to me, welcome to the trash pit. That's a little more than just making fun of, which is fine.
But
in my head, yes, I didn't. Okay, go.
So what's really, a really fascinating portion of how we closed and then what I walked away with from our last session is really demonstrative of how we perceive things so magnified. Right.
Like
and when there's
crazy magnified.
And when there's a little bit of truth in something, when we feel that internal thing that we work really hard to fix, we have been all our lives, and that this is something we don't want anyone to see. And when we are all of a sudden shown that someone so easily recognizes this fault or this problem that we've been so careful to hide from ourselves and others.
Yes.
That now I feel like, oh my God, everyone has seen that, right? And it becomes this huge thing in your mind. It's not reality. I repeat, this is not reality. It is just something in the mind. And fortunately, because we have been making these episodes and talking through it, and I've been doing, deep work at recognizing my own behaviors and motivations, I was able to allow all that to occur and then look at why it resonated so deeply, why I hyper-focused on that word, that one little word that slipped out.
You guys, she couldn't let go of the fact that I said trash. And I just want to clarify, because I don't remember what I said, because that's how my mind works.
It doesn't even matter, right?
No, and I want to, right, and it's your perception, and I do want to go back to the episode, but in my head, I swear to God, I didn't say your house is a trash pit.
You didn't say pit, don't worry. And again, right, you're being so defensive about this, so we'll get back to that because I don't know why you're being so defensive about it. You didn't hurt my feelings.
I feel like I hurt your feelings.
You did zero.
And I think
hurt my feelings.
I felt bad that I feel like I hurt your feelings.
No, you helped me.
And I'm so happy that I helped you, but I still felt like I hurt your feelings.
But you didn't. I keep telling you and you won't believe me, and I don't know why.
I can't.
Why are we arguing? Why is this happening?
So what happened after?
So I sat with that for a bit. And I was like, I walked in my living room. I'm like, well, there's not really trash here, right? Right. And I'm like, what would she consider trash, right? Like, why?
Oh, God, that just makes me feel so bad.
But in a completely objective way, you're being defensive again.
No, I'm just being sensitive. Like, I feel like I hurt your feelings. But keep going. No, I'll get over it.
We're going to have to explore that some other time.
Yeah, we don't have time for that today.
So our listeners don't go away because we talk about this too much. We keep fighting.
We're not fighting.
And then I was like, well, I do have a giant pile of mail. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's probably half of that is trash. I'm like, okay. And then I walked into my bedroom to do something and I paused and I looked around and I was like, oh my God, I have literally in my mind ignored these piles of halfway home things I've created
Mhm.
where there were these things that are in transit, like the Halloween costume
Oh my God,
box that
right?
needs to go into the garage. So it
Right?
wasn't that it's dirty or anything, but it was definitely so cluttered. And over time, because it's so stressful, my mind needed to deal, right? To not have a cognitive dissonance
Mhm.
about me
Mhm.
living in this cluttered space that's my bedroom, my
Right.
safe space that
Right.
people don't see. This is where I can kind of like just be.
Mhm.
And, like the clothes draped on the little shay in there that you can't see because the clothes are draped over it. The basket of laundry with the clean clothes
Mhm.
that I have not put away and dug through, even though I folded. Now everything's unfolded.
Mhm.
The dresser that has shish kebab skewers sitting there from a
Mhm.
Christmas gift years ago that
Well,
just
you never know when you're gonna need that
they
to like
stayed
help
in situ.
your
Well, I wanted to like
your lashes
create
separate.
I wanted to do a shadow box with them,
Yeah.
right? So I put them here because I didn't want them sitting in the living room. So
Right.
so there's all this clutter in situ. So it just
Mhm.
stays and then it just becomes part of the scenery.
What baffles me about that is how you literally
Blind,
do
blind.
not see it. I have some not trash. The stuff behind this thing here
Hmm.
has been sitting there from under the sink because we need to change the wood from under the sink. I don't see it anymore. But it's a mess.
My brain just goes right over it, which I think, I thought a little bit about also like when I'm trying to find something, why am I not see it? Because then my eyes are scanning and skipping over things
Right?
that they're used to skipping over. And even
Right.
though my
Because you know
telephone
it's
is
not
sitting right there, I
right.
don't see it. And then
That's
I'm like, it's been
crazy.
45 minutes.
That's
I'm going to lose my
crazy.
mind.
Holy shit. I do that like
And then
every
you're like, how
day.
did I not see this right
Every
here?
day I do that, Letty.
So I think we've created these little blind spots that now became like motor patterns of
Right.
brain just says, oh, ignore this. Like,
It's not there.
I mean, I'll look at the little crack in the ceiling. I'll see that every time, but I will not
You want
see the
all this
the
stuff hanging over
the
the
flowers that have now dried themselves. The water has evaporated
Huh?
and
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
dusty.
Oh, that those arrangements last so long on my table. And we all sit at the table and we all comment, those are dead. And all three of us look at them and
So
they sit there for
so
the
I
next
sat
3
with that.
weeks.
I
Okay.
sat there on the bed and I looked around and I said, "Oh my God, I had not only have time blindness, I have clutter blindness."
Mhm. It's a
And
big
and
thing.
while it's not on that hoarder scale, which requires a completely different
Mhm.
attention, it was something that I was able to, for the first time, really recognize and not be overwhelmed by
Mhm.
in the
Which
sense
is
that
huge.
and I think that's partly medication and partly like having built up strategies over this last year
It's
of how
huge.
to attempt something like this, right?
Mhm.
And I took a weekend and I first addressed the living room and moved things that were not supposed to be there
Mhm.
out of there. And that
Mhm.
was really the first thing, which led
Which
to
is
cluttering
huge,
other spaces, but it
but that's
also
okay.
allowed me to see what I'm actually using and not using. So I ended up getting rid of like
Exactly.
8 bags of stuff from the living room too,
Mhm.
donated them out, books, things, stuff. And then I did the bedroom. And my bedroom is now, there's nothing in there except my clothes, my shoes, photo frames, lamps, and books, and then maybe a couple of small items. I don't know, like nail files. But even like my nightly routine, I got a little mirror
Mhm.
glass thing to put my creams on, but so it's contained. And
And it almost feels fun to go to your little glass thing with all your things all pretty
I've
on
never
there.
had that. Like I've always
Like, it's so
imagined it.
pretty, right?
I've always like delved into that little
And it makes you wanna
fantasy.
keep it clean because it's just so fun and pretty.
Yeah. So it's been now, has it been 2 months? No, since we
Yeah, my
recorded.
surgery, yeah,
Oh my gosh. So
Wednesday
for
is
2
2
months, I've
months.
managed to actually keep that space in that same way and have been getting rid of clothes that I don't like. So it's been a joy to walk into my bedroom and go to bed because I don't have to have that small little anxiety before going to sleep about what the space is that I'm occupying.
And you don't have to ignore any spaces anymore. You
I can
actually
vacuum.
But you can actually look at these
Normal.
beautiful spaces and go, oh my God, it looks so pretty in here.
I don't have to move anything when I vacuum.
I remember, and then I remember when I came over and how proud you were to show me your bedroom.
So proud.
And it was
Also, I wanted you to feel that
beautiful.
you didn't hurt my feelings. I was like, look what you did.
Right. And it was so beautiful. And it really does make a huge difference in your mental well-being.
Big difference.
And it's honest to God, Letty, it's just going to be a slow thing over time because I don't know about you, but when I tackle something and I spend time on it, I literally need like 2 to 3 weeks off of doing nothing because I'm so exhausted from tackling that big thing that I have to take some time off. Well, so it takes a while.
It took me a while to prepare for it because mentally I had to understand what the task was. So I was like looking through it.
Right.
Like I found like 3 purses full.
I found 3 purses too. Full.
I mean, I must have bought like rebought makeup so many times because I would not remember I had makeup in there and I would rebuy like the whole set.
That's insanity.
Pens, so many pens.
It's insanity. I have so many hair ties. So many hair ties and clips from just 2 gigantic purses that I had.
Business cards. Why?
It's wild.
Ridiculous.
It also is like really rewarding because then you can clean out those purses. Money. You can clean out those purses, get that money. And then you can actually put your purses away in a nice way.
Or that's where those earrings went.
It is.
I'm still looking for a bracelet I took off for an MRI. I have not found it yet.
You'll find it. You'll find it.
And so it's been good. So don't feel bad.
I don't. And I'm so happy that you turned whatever I said.
Trigger. So there was a trigger.
There was I triggered you.
And I recognized that was a trigger rather than just like whatever or
she's a bitch.
Defensive. Yeah. I would never think that anyways. But I recognized that there was a trigger. And I think that is the biggest thing for me, that I'm not just operating on whatever and I can just take a minute and go, oh, hey.
And I got to see you.
Why?
And I got to see you super proud, which made me feel proud and made me feel like, okay, whatever I said had a positive outcome.
And it also makes me feel more grown up, which I think is a big deal for me.
That's huge. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've had been struggling, with being an adult or feeling like an adult, even though I'm operating like an adult, right? I work, I pay bills, I'm raising children, like all this stuff. And yet I would still kind of feel like that little girl, right? And that's, I think, because a lot of that was that panic operating and reactive operating.
Huge, Letty, actually.
And so being able to like tell that little girl part of myself, like, I got this, I can do this. I know this is a panic point. But I've got this. I'm an adult. I've got this.
That's huge. Yeah. I feel like I felt that too. Like, but I didn't know how to verbalize it. Like a shift in myself. Wow. That's
because you always feel so guilty and shameful, and that's a youth. That's a childhood feeling when your parents scold you. They're not there to scold you, so you're scolding yourself because you know it's bad. And that feeling is the same as when you're 5 and you're like, what did you do? Or you're a teen and your room's a mess. Right. And so that it doesn't matter where it comes from, it triggers that emotion.
That's wild.
Because we're stunted emotionally in that space. We're unable to get through it. So now that I can give myself permission to not only feel,
God, that's wild,
but then to have the power to make some kind of change and not expecting that change to be perfect. Right.
Right. I think that's a huge thing too. Nothing has to be perfect.
And not all or nothing, allowing it to take a couple weeks to get to the space I needed to.
Right.
Because that's also a big ADHD thing, is all or nothing, right? I'm going to go and like clean my whole house.
You can, let's just not.
And you do it, but you're dead. And then you're like, I can't do this every day because that's what you think cleaning is. So I've been tidying spaces on a schedule in very small increments.
That's what I do.
Bathrooms are Tuesdays. And I've never done that. I really haven't.
Isn't it like fucking crazy?
And maybe there's people who do this. And I always wanted to be Martha Stewart. I love her little calendars of when she
But
took
she
care of
has
the house.
ADHD, and so she
No, I
learned how
don't
to
know.
control her ADHD and make schedules.
I don't think that's what we're dealing
No,
with Martha now.
no,
She's a
she's just
creature
brilliant.
from
Yeah.
outer space,
Hmm.
and she's amazing. And I wanted to be her, and I wanted to have her little outdoor drying coop and her basket house and her
Sure. Don't we all?
acres and acres of
Yeah,
land.
of course. But, that will happen when we retire.
Today we'll be making special gooseberry jelly with fresh mint that I have picked and dried in my drying house, built for
We'll
me
have
by
one
my
of those.
grandfather.
We're going to have those. We're going to have those one day. I'm
And when
convinced.
the children come by, I have them pick perfect leaves.
Well, all I want to say is I think that's awesome that you were able to start this journey from what I said. And it's lovely to see. I've been on that journey already, picking days, choosing Tuesdays are bathrooms, Wednesdays the kitchen, Thursdays the living room, like keeping my cleaning schedule really easy, but regimented so the house can at least have upkeep.
So for this last
Because
month,
I don't have anyone clean my house. It's just me.
this last month has been really hard for me. We'll go into it some other time, but
Yeah.
I've had some loss and some
And that
things
and
going
that
on.
happens too.
But I haven't followed that schedule this month.
Mhm.
And I've told myself that it's okay. That
Absolutely.
it doesn't mean that I've broken a habit. It doesn't mean that
No.
that's out the window. So it's been nice also to give myself permission to take a little time off from it and not feel like it's yet again something I have abandoned. I
Of
feel
course.
confident that I'm going to return that schedule, and I don't feel like a failure about it like I would have before. So that's also huge, I think, for me.
Can I tell you what I said to my husband yesterday?
No, you can't tell me.
I'm going to tell you
No,
anyway.
you asked. I said no.
Tough shit. I had been feeling these last 2 weeks, really guilty.
You're so guilty.
Just having these guilty
Oh,
feelings,
you're
right?
guilty. You're
And
so
I figured
guilty.
out why I was having the guilty feelings.
Was it
And
the
I
late
had
night
to talk
chocolate?
Oh, hold on. Oh, there's just plenty. There's plenty to unpack, but I figured it out. And I had to verbalize it to my husband so that I verbalized it out loud so that I could really justify.
What if you verbalize it not out loud?
Because I don't think it's real if I don't.
So verbalize in your head?
In my
I'm going
out
to just
loud.
stick to that word. I'm a speech therapist. Verbalize means out your mouth.
Fuck off. This is how I talk. I don't speak right words all the time, but it's okay. Anyway, so I said to my husband, I have figured out, because for the last 2 weeks, I've been feeling every night I'm going to bed feeling uber guilty and eating a lot.
Ooh,
Mhm.
I called it.
Yeah. So I've been eating a lot, and I did have surgery. I'm 2 months post-op. For a while there, I was dropping weight.
Unrelated to eating, though, the surgery. So it's something else. I just want to make it clear that that's not a connection.
Right.
Right.
So I've been home. I've been resting, not doing much. And then starting to feel better. Meds all working really well now.
You went off meds for ADHD.
I went off meds for ADHD, and then I had to start taking new medication because of my surgery. So I didn't take my ADHD meds for 5 weeks.
Was that fun? Did you recognize
I'm
anything?
going to tell you that story.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the story of what happened when I started taking the meds again.
Take it back to guilt.
But I was been feeling guilty for the last 2 weeks because, yes, I have been on my meds, and I've been searching for food at night because I'm feeling guilty because what I was doing was my husband, because of the fabulous strike that was going on or is going on, depending on whenever, the WGA and the actor strike. I would wait for my husband because his schedule, he literally would wake up every morning and find out that day if he was working. So we never knew till like 11, 12 o'clock if he was working that day. I put my life on hold. And for the last 2 weeks, I would sit and wait with him to find out if he was working or not. And then when I would find out that he was working, then I couldn't do any of the stuff that I personally wanted to do around the house because I wanted to spend time with him until he went to work.
So you were like being an emotional support for him, which then kind of prevented you from dealing with
my daily
post-op
chores
and also recovering.
and recovering.
Right.
So here I am gaining weight because I'm eating at night and my meds have regulated, thank God. So that makes me my meds for my body, not my Vyvanse as I hit
Not
my
for
head.
my head.
Right. Not for my head meds, the actual body to regulate my body. And so my body's starting to gain weight again because I was losing weight, yada, yada. So I'm in this just cycle of every night feeling so guilty because I have not done anything in the house, nothing. And so I go and I eat to make myself feel
So, what were
better.
some words? I just want to hear it because we say to ourselves some of the meanest things we would never say to someone else.
Like,
Can I just
Kelly,
hear
how
some of
you're
the
such,
words that you used on yourself?
huh?
Like, what did you
Oh, I
call
called
yourself? What did you
myself a
say?
pig. I called myself a pig. And
Like,
that's just mean.
keep
It's
telling me the
just
things because I
mean.
want you to hear yourself telling
Right.
me
I'm a
so you can
pig.
see how.
I'm lazy. Why couldn't you just pick up a fucking duster and just get rid of the dust that you see all over your house because you know it's not good for your lungs. You're lazy. You sit on your ass and do nothing. But that's exactly what I did.
Mhm.
I couldn't not do that.
Would you have told me the same thing if I had the same situation?
What do you mean?
Would you have used those words towards me? Like, Letty, you're lazy, you're sitting on your ass. Like, if I was going through the same experience.
I don't understand. Sorry. I don't think I'd ever call you a pig or you're lazy.
And that's my point, right?
No, I would never
So
call
we
you that.
use words on
Yeah,
ourselves
okay, now I get what you're saying. I was like, what the fuck is she
that we
saying
would
to me?
never use on someone
No, I would
else.
never use that on you. I
And
would never
so,
call you a pig. Like, are you
right?
kidding me? That's the grossest thing to say to someone.
So I think, it's important to
But I can
pause
call myself
here.
that.
Well, you can't, right? So it's important to pause here and note that if you find yourself using this kind of language
I do.
in
It's
your head
awful.
towards yourself, if you've got a capacity to ask yourself the question, would you tell your best friend these same things?
Oh my God, that's great.
Right now, would I tell my best friend these same words? And if not, rephrase your internal voice.
Letty, that's huge. Holy fuck. That's crazy.
We are so mean
Oh my
to
God, I am
ourselves.
so mean
And
to
it's
I would
uncalled for.
never. Oh
It's
my God,
uncalled
it's
for. You're
mean.
wounding yourself.
But can I get okay, but can I tell you
Yeah.
how I got out of it so
Yeah.
at least
Keep
we can
going.
treat this into like so that we can show that like there's growth and you can learn and you can
It's so painful, but yes, there is.
right, there is growth. So I did this for 2 weeks, right?
Mhm.
And I think this weekend, I can't remember when it was, but I had a little binge at night and my daughter came in to say goodnight to me as she always does. And I said to her, I said, you know what? I can't. I'm getting I'm getting rid of all this shit in the house. We're going to this weekend find healthy snacks for all of us. I said, because I am not controlling myself around this food right now because I'm having some sort of moment. And I know what the moment is, and I'm bringing myself out of this moment. But the first thing I need to do is get the crap out of the house.
So you don't have the visual
So
trigger.
exactly.
Because that's your old pattern and it's easy. The
Hmm.
brain's like, oh, that made
Hmm.
me feel good.
Hmm.
Because you're basically, even though you're taking your medication, you still don't have enough dopamine and
No.
norepinephrine and all those other wonderful things to
And we're
give
sitting
you
in this
that good
solace
feel.
and sorrow waiting for the strike to be done. And then, when if he doesn't work, that just adds an extra layer of holy
It's just
crap.
stress hormone,
Right.
and you have nowhere to channel it because you're in fight or flight, and you're
Right.
not flying, you're not fighting.
Like there's literally nothing you can do.
So that's got to go somewhere, and it goes into the next thing that your body can do.
Which is eat some really good, yummy,
And it's
sugary
misguided
stuff.
signals because you're not
Yep.
hungry,
No,
right?
not one bit.
It's just a survival tactic
Absolutely.
for that unseen famine or disaster that's coming to save your body, to preserve.
Exactly. And it tastes really good, so it makes me feel really good.
Sure, and that releases that immediate.
Absolutely. And so I'm
Yeah.
instantly
Makes
feel
sense.
better.
It makes a lot of sense.
So I said that to my daughter and she agreed and she was okay with that. And then I sat my husband down and I said, look, for the last few weeks, I've really not been taking care of myself because I've been wrapped up in what's going on with you. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm stopping that. So starting, Monday, when we find out if you're working or not, I'm going to still go do what I need to do that day because I'm feeling uber guilty when I go to bed at night, and I'm eating a lot when I go to bed at night. And I don't want to do that anymore. So today's Monday. Today's the day we started because I had this epiphany this weekend, and my husband totally saw that and he recognized it in himself, because we all know he has a huge problem with binge eating at night. And we're all gonna
Time.
and we're all gonna start this
By the way, no one ever needs a snack.
ever.
You just need a meal.
Yeah.
No one needs a snack. It's such an American thing.
Yeah. So
There's
that
no need
was
for a snack.
really cool for me to figure that out. And I'm actually pumped for today because we're doing this morning. I feel like I have this great little schedule for the day because there's no school. And like I'm excited to get through and do all my things today.
I was excited about vacuuming today.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? Isn't that crazy? So that was
Mhm.
a really lovely, interesting thing to figure out about
Let
myself.
me ask you this. The need for that fulfillment hasn't gone away, though. So
No.
how are you going to address that coming in?
I
Like,
think
what is it
for
that you're
me,
strategizing?
the thing that gives me joy is cleaning up. And
But
I
what
know
about
that
joy
sounds
at like
weird.
10:30 at night?
I'm not up that late, Letty. Please.
Sorry. 7:30
Yeah.
p.m.
So it's 7:30
Where how you getting
p.m.
joy then?
So what I'm doing is cleaning up, making sure that the the kitchen is straight, because it's so nice to walk into a kitchen in the morning when it's nice and
What if you
straight.
don't have the bandwidth to get that
And
clean though?
that's fine. I don't have to do something every day either.
Mhm.
The point is to redirect it not to the pantry,
And that's it. So I
to
think
redirect myself to something else.
so for our listeners out there who
My
have
nails,
like a really different, place they're operating in, who might
Mhm.
also experience something like this is where that little list would come in handy
Mhm.
of things that give you pleasure, that are more conducive to your health overall. Have that available in line of sight.
What we're doing
Right.
right now is, since during COVID, we did some updates to the house. So we had so much leftover paint brushes and all this leftover stuff. So what we're doing now is just updating our home. So we painted the doors. And the next thing is our bedroom. So that's going to become my dopamine fix, because I'm so excited to paint our bedroom. We just got everything for it. We took our time. We swatched colors, took time, picked colors, picked everything. So everything's now all picked out. And now I'm like excited because I get to start sanding down, fixing holes,
Right.
getting ready to paint. And I'm not making myself think I have to finish it overnight. Because in my head, I feel like I have to finish things overnight. No, this is a process. I want to do it the right way. I'm going to pull everything down, mark out, fill in the holes,
I
get
got you,
the
I got
wall,
you, I got
all that shit, where I wouldn't do that. That's not how Kelly works. Kelly just fucking does it half-ass and gets it done.
Right. And then, I'm coming back to, what other strategies we could offer.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not something you have access to, or that's, not,
Meditation?
I mean, that's not for me.
I guess it's not for me either.
But it could be creating
Reading? I don't know. Like, there's got to be something.
for some people, creating a vision board. And so going to it
Yeah.
and maybe adding
Yeah.
to that vision board with a scrap of paper, like writing down something you really want to envision for yourself, or a picture. Flipping through photographs of really good events that you might want to replicate. Not, think about things like, well, this is not happening anymore, but more of like, how do I recreate additional memories in my life of experiences to bring me further joy? Spending some time with your pets if you have them, or texting a good friend. So just having some things for yourself to provide that little kick and regulation, rather than just using fantasy to regulate, right? Because that can lead to further depletion, and then you go back into that whatever habit is you're trying to work away from. So it's really important to look around. What do you have access to that you can use in place of something you're trying to move from, right?
I think, yeah, my husband uses the dogs a lot. He gets down on the ground, lays on the ground, and he just sits there and lays with the dogs for 20 minutes. And that's a big grounding thing for him.
I stare at squirrels sometimes
Yeah, honestly.
and birds.
So can we go to when I took medication for the first time after 5 weeks? Can I
Yeah.
tell you what happened? There's just
Yeah.
one specific thing I want to
Oh,
tell you
before you
about.
do that too, I was
Yeah.
also going to say that, I don't know, medically speaking, but I also wonder, and I'll probably look into it, if anesthesia affects people with ADHD differently, like
Oh,
in terms of
interesting.
recovery time. I feel like it's really, really hard for me to come back from anesthesia. I feel, first of all, just even to wake up from it, but also I just feel really sluggish for a long time post-op when you're supposed to be like all recovered. So I don't know if that's a thing in terms of regulation and everything.
I haven't been, the last time I was under anesthesia was like 25 years ago. So being
But
an
even an
adult,
epidural, that's still anesthesia, right? But I'm just
but that
thinking
was
like,
15 and a half years ago. Like, honestly, it was so long. Like, I haven't had that in so long.
right.
So,
I'm just curious. But
right,
anyways,
having this, and actually staying overnight in a hospital and all that, I don't think I've ever done that except after having a baby. But I will say this, one very specific thing happened, which I thought was really funny to me.
Can you get more specific?
Yes. So I haven't taken my Vyvanse for 5 weeks because I was having heart rate issues.
Right.
I had to really get my body regulated from my surgery. So it took a long time.
And that's that stimulant aspect of your type of medication.
Right. And I had heart issues with the
Palpitations.
with my autoimmune disease that I have. I have heart issues with it. So after surgery, I really wanted to wait a long time because I wasn't feeling good. And it took a really long time for my body to regulate. Blah. 5 weeks later, I'm starting to feel better. And I take a Vyvanse in the morning.
What happened?
This is so weird to me because I'll never forget this ever in my entire life. Something happened. And I
farted.
I farted. And it made me get up off the couch.
You'll never forget it.
I'll never forget it. It made me get up off the couch and we grocery shopped. That's what it was.
I thought you said you'd never forget it. You just
I couldn't remember why I walked to why I was in the kitchen. We grocery stopped.
I'll never forget it. Oh, I remember now.
I was putting groceries away and my child, very finicky eater, she eats crap, yada, yada, yada. I'm putting the stuff away and I literally open the fridge. I look in the fridge and I shit you not. It was like calculations going off in my head. I had taken the medication. It was 3 hours later and I could literally it was like division and multiplication.
Was it like A Beautiful Mind?
Yes. It was A Beautiful Mind, me looking in the fridge and how I could move around the fridge to make my daughter eat food.
When your brain's operating normally.
It was crazy. You guys, I swear it was like arrows starting to point and it was doing A plus X equals Z. And you move this down here, you move
the eggs to the left.
Yeah, no, I swear to God, it's like if you put the eggs on this side and then you put this down here, and then I could move this up here. It was literally like I was firing on all cylinders and it felt really good.
Can I tell you something really strange?
It felt really good.
Can I tell you something really strange though?
What?
It blows me away, Kelly.
Why?
What you're describing right now is how my brain operates off of medication, and medication quiets that for me.
Oh, that's wild. See?
So that I'm not constantly doing that.
No, for me, it made me
odd.
Be able to freaking, it just made me be able to solve. Not
recognize the space and start.
Solve it. I don't know how to solve things off medication as far as.
See, and that's the thing. I would watch you in the bakery, start things and you didn't have a plan. You would just start. Whereas I can't start until I've had a plan.
No, I can just
and I think the medication fixes both ways.
Of us so that we can.
So wild.
Not just start, but figure it out before I start.
Finish.
It's so weird. It was. I'll never forget that, looking in my fridge and feeling like Albert Einstein.
I'm gonna get your little beautiful mind,
MC squared
magnet.
shit. It was just And it was just firing. And I was like, oh my God, I can actually make my daughter eat. Like I can do this. And I was just, it was just such a weird feeling. And that's what
Did
I
you
felt.
notice also that maybe your fridge was more disorganized from that period that you weren't medicating?
Probably because my husband was taking care of everything. And he doesn't have a mind like I do. I like to organize the fridge. I
Mhm.
like to organize it so you know where everything is. And he just kind of throws things in, doesn't do anything. So
Don't
yeah,
you
there was a
hate those
lot
little
of
bags of things that you find? And you're like, why is there a single bacon in a Ziploc in the
so there's
bag?
just there was disorganization, which was fine.
I don't understand. I've also been seeing this trend where people are reorganizing their refrigerator so that the door where you keep all those condiments and all those
Right.
things that just pile and whatever, they'll put the like fruit or
Yeah, that's
snacks
what I'm starting to do.
onto
I
the
saw that too.
door.
Yeah. So
And
when you open, well, this is what I have to do for her is when she opens it up, I right there will be
that's
the
what I do for mine
apples,
too. Yeah.
the
Mhm.
grapes. She wants to make healthy choices. She just can't if it's not in front of her face. And I absolutely get
Right.
that.
Well, it's ease of
Mhm.
access. Right. I see a
So
bag of chips or something. I gotta cook. What am I gonna do? Because I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten all day. I forgot to. I'm gonna
I'm going
take
to have
the
a bag of
easiest food
chips.
at that point because my brain's starving.
Exactly. That's what we
Yeah.
do. So
Mhm.
that's what I saw in my head when I opened the
So
door.
funny. I can
Excuse me.
picture it. I'm gonna need to see that
It
in
was
like a
fun. It was
cartoon.
fun to see your medication work.
Yeah.
And it was fun to see what I thought was my medication not working for the last 2 weeks because I literally couldn't do anything. But I know why I couldn't do anything because I was
Drained,
drained and I was also
recovering.
relying on my husband's activities to dictate my day
Hmm.
and which led to me doing nothing.
Well, I'm
So,
big on mirroring. I notice with myself, like if I'm sitting, let's say, and having a cup of coffee and watching like a YouTube video on my Korean or whatever the heck weird things I'm doing, and if, my significant other comes into the kitchen and starts cleaning,
huh,
I can't sit there any longer. Like I have to pause and I'll either wait until they're done or I feel like I have to join them. So I do a lot of
interesting.
mirroring
Uh-huh.
throughout my days. And I don't know why I'm unable to enjoy myself if someone is working. I'm exploring that right now.
Well, this is me. This is day 1 of
But if
me
someone's also
exploring that.
loafing,
Right.
I will stop doing what I'm doing
Right. And loaf.
and loaf.
So today is my day 1 to see what's going to happen when he gets up and we find out if he's working or not. I know what I want to do today.
It's like
I
operating in your
have it.
own little universe rather than
Yeah.
being that entangled thing
Yeah.
for tasks.
Because it's okay for me to do my own shit. You know what I mean?
But then, like, I don't want them to feel bad
Well, they
if
can
I'm
suck my dick.
relaxing while
Like,
they're doing
no.
something.
Uh-uh.
Because then that whole like ginormous empathy ball comes out, and I want them to not feel like if they're loafing, I don't want them to feel bad that I'm cleaning because I'm thinking that that's what they must also be thinking because I have a crystal ball.
And they're not. Because or they are, and like, because my husband will see me cleaning.
I guess they're welcome to then just clean. I guess if that's what they feel.
Right.
Right.
My
Yeah.
husband sees me cleaning
So
and
weird.
he either decides to join in or not. And I don't feel bad either way.
I can't, like,
I don't feel bad either way. If he wants
cannot
to
do
join
it.
me, great. If he doesn't want to join me, even greater, because then I can just I can do it my way. You know?
It's so strange that I want to be in constant but I think that hypervigilance probably comes from childhood,
Mhm.
having to
Yeah.
observe someone whose mood really depended on your safety.
Yeah.
And so I'm hypervigilant about other people's moods, and I try to always mirror that mood to make sure I'm not pulling them out of there.
So your goal now
Is to
is
recognize that.
is to not pull yourself away
Can't do
from.
that yet. I'm not ready. I
Okay.
just I think recognizing that
Okay.
moment and just being able to wait through it without feeling just horrible that I'm not helping.
I'll let you know how this week goes with what my plan is, and we can see what happens when we meet again and if it worked or not.
Okay. All right.
If it worked or not. I think I feel motivated to do it because I felt so guilty the last 2 weeks, even though it was okay for me not to do anything.
So what's some vocabulary you could use that you could explore with yourself right now? Instead of those things you told yourself, what are some things you could tell yourself when you're, let's say, again, eating at night once or something like that happens or not doing something? Can you give me a practice of what you could tell yourself instead of the pig and lazy and those things?
Okay, clearly you needed to take a night off. It's okay. It's hard to, I feel like sometimes it's hard to justify the food aspect because there's nothing right about that.
I'm thinking something like this. Oh shit. I guess I'm doing it again. Okay. So I'm with the chips. I'm eating it again. And I'm just gonna acknowledge
Okay.
and recognize, and this is what I'm telling myself. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
acknowledging and recognizing that I'm shoveling this in my face right now. So I'm gonna take like 2 more shovels, really good ones, really, really like dig in there.
Yes.
And then while I'm chewing, I'm just gonna go ahead and zip that bag up and put it away and get some water and enjoy what I'm having.
I mean, I guess that's the mindset you have to start trying
Just
to put
recognize
yourself in
that is what you're doing. So
and
it's not
giving
mindless.
yourself
And laugh about it and
Uh-huh.
and just like I'm going to take like, okay, maybe I need 3 scoops right now because that's what it is.
I think
And
I-
just enjoy it.
I think I did
Enjoy
that
it.
in the beginning. You know what I mean?
And then you're like,
And then
oh.
it kept going.
And that's when you got disgusted.
And then I
Right.
got disgusted.
Mhm.
To be honest, I usually could do 1 or 2 snacks a night, like little snacks, so that I felt like I had something.
Again, we don't need to snack, but all right.
Uh-huh. But then
I snack. I'm not being judgy.
right. But then it just kept getting
Right.
more and more. And I was like, I couldn't bring myself out of it.
But words
then it
really
took
matter,
2
right?
weeks. Yes, words matter. It took 2 weeks. And then I got down to the nitty-gritty and figured it out. So it took
Yeah.
me 2 weeks.
Yes.
Whatever.
So giving yourself that opportunity to recognize it and use nicer language
Yeah.
in that moment
Yeah.
may be the first goal. It's not that you need to stop. It's just the language should change a little bit so that you don't feel so bad that it becomes this thing that you end up doing because now you're such a bad person. That's really all you're worth, like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that. And look, it's something to work on for sure.
Yeah. Be nice to yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got for today.
Wow.
My stomach's growling, so I'm hungry too, clearly.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was kind of like a mishmash and
I hope you can
a
relate
whole
to
bunch
something.
of stuff. Yeah, I hope you can. Please let us know if there's anything you can relate to. Drop it in our chat on Instagram and let us know if you got the feels.
And if you'd like to see my interpretation of my trash dump house drawing that I made,
She'll post it.
we'll post it on our Instagram. So go on there and check it out. Follow us. Leave your comment. Whether
for
you enjoy the
listening.
seagulls and the steaming piles.
Oh my God. Enjoy your day. Thank you for
Thank you.
listening to WTH ADHD. Bye. This has been a Hi It's Me ADHD production.